Hello everybody. My apologies for not streaming anything related to the game in a while, um, but I've been a little bit busy with work and some house stuff. And so here's a quick update. Some of the things that I've done over the past few weeks have been mostly connected to gameplay. So there was quite a bit of digging and uncovering some things related to implementing the version 4 of the advanced locomotion system. Just because I was struggling with getting weapons to work properly. Some of the turn factors with ALS v3 was not working so well for me. So um, I've kind of leaned into and went with the ALS version 4. And also, a lot of the reason for that was there's not so much support anymore for the V3 on the Discord channel either. And there's some new things with V4 that I felt were much better implemented than what I had, and I felt was going to work a lot better. So here's a quick preview of some of the things that I've changed. So a big thing with V, as far as the movement, not a lot changed. The animations are going to be the same between the two versions, but the big thing is the the way that you can add weapons and new animations to it. V4 is quite a bit nicer built, though I didn't realize that at first. Also, one of the things that I really liked, and I'll show you that shortly, is the way you can add meshes to your characters. So um, then I'll show that real quick. So right now, as you remember from before, there's like the inventory and the quest that I've implemented, and so that hasn't changed. But the one thing that did change is the way you equip weapons. So that's something that, as you remember, I used to have it this thing on the left hand side. You have like the left hand press 1, right hand press 2, and I felt that was a little bit cumbersome. So I've replayed a little bit of like Dishonored and some of the Dying Light games, and I really enjoy the way they have their system implemented. So I was trying to do a little bit of kind of using a mixture of the two. So one thing that I've done is whenever you select a weapon or you get a weapon in your inventory, right now you can access it by pressing the middle mouse button and then just selecting it from here. So now you have it equipped. And of course, there's going to be some changes that I'm going to need to make uh, for the idle animations, because with the ALS V4, what happens is it just goes back into an idle animation like this, where it's just kind of holding the pistol in the right hand. So this is perfectly fine for a third-person shooter, but for me, being a first-person shooter, I want it to be so and always in this position. And also, there's a couple of changes, and I believe that's done to the curves, where the pistol is kind of aiming a little high, like right above where the crosshair is. So I'm gonna attempt to change that as well. But right now, it's moving very fluidly, and I really enjoy that. Um, so again, you can select items like this, implemented this radial menu, and this is a very basic implementation right now. I'm looking into what it's doing is looking into the inventory and getting anything that's of a weapon type and displaying it in this radial selection here. Also, one of the things that this is doing is if you're in game mode and you're like let's say you're running and you access this, it goes into like a slow-mo, so you can um, it doesn't completely pause the game, but it slows it down enough so that you can select an item. Like as you can see, the animation playing and everything else is slowed down quite a bit. And that was another thing that came with ALSv4 and that I learned about because I did not really know about the the potential of being able to slow the game speed down. Okay, so that's one of the updates, and actually during the stream, what I'll try and do is implement implement like one of the like a rifle. So just similar to how the pistol is, I'll try and do the same thing for the rifle. So once you go into game mode, you pick up a pistol, and then you'll have the pistol here and then the rifle down here, so it'd be a selectable slot as well, so it would go into that animation or into the state where it can like point the pistol or the rifle in that case. Alright, so before we do that, one of the things that I wanted to share is the reason that I really like um, the ALSv4 is let me see where I can find it. So I have created a kind of a child class of for specific use to be the main player. This one's going to have a lot of additional components. Like the simple icon when you get the little icon on the items that you can pick up. But so this is going to be for the main player, and there's going to be kind of a toned down version for the enemies and the NPCs. It's going to have the same kind of potential for movements, but it won't have like like a simple icon. It's going to have a different perception. So you're going to generate a stimuli as a character, and the other one, the NPC is going to have to receive that stimuli and either attack you or do anything like that. So that's already in place. I just need to transition it to the new ALSv3 v4. So the cool thing about this is, and I wanted to show you, is with a lot of the characters that you find on the marketplace, they're really good quality when it comes to third person. But when you're in like in first person mode, one of the things that I've noticed, and let me jump into game real quick and pick up a weapon, and let's equip it. So one of the things that I've noticed is if you look closely at and it kind of goes into that pulls the hand down real quick, but if you take a look at the hand, and let's see if we can go into like a kind of a darker area somewhere, if we can find something a little darker that the sun doesn't shine as much. That's not probably the best one. Let's see, I'm gonna try and change the time of day. Like I'm trying to show you what kind of like an interior. So let me turn the light on here and set this to be nighttime. And maybe let's half this, it's a little too strong. Alright, so you have your weapon, have it equipped. So one of the things that I've noticed with a lot of the characters that you find on the marketplace, and now I'm not talking about the very expensive ones because those are expensive and I don't have those, but a lot of the up close hands, unless they're like either like a fabric or some kind of a glove, they don't look that good. So the cool thing about this is if you look at the hand right now, that is the hand of a metahuman, but it's on the body of a store bought, like marketplace bought character. So if we go back to the main character player here, you'll notice that, and you might recognize if you spend some time on the marketplace, you'll definitely recognize this. I think it's like a Riot character, and it's made out of a bunch of body pieces. So it's actually a pretty nice package. It has let's take a quick look at it. It has a couple of vests. It has a couple of sleeves, or actually, yeah. So there's like two sleeves. Let's see. There's kind of already some pre-built ones. There's a set of pants and like four sets of head, or like actually, let's see, three sets of heads. There's hands, and also there's equipment, just as modular pieces, which is really nice. So with the ALS v4, now this could have been done in ALS v3, I would assume, but this is something I wasn't aware of. So with ALS v4, you can set a bunch of these meshes just separate. So what I've done to get more definition to the actual hands, since I'm going to be using hands and probably not gloves, though I might take a look at gloves at one point to see if they how they work, if there's any different definition. But these are actually um, the um, the ones that, or a set of the ones that come with metahumans. So in this case, it's like the medium overweight body, and I'm sure I can probably get something to fit maybe even better, because like right now, if you look, they don't fit the sleeves perfectly. So potentially I'm gonna attempt to look at not the overweight, but the one. So I think there's skinny, normal, and overweight for like the body types with the metahumans. But that was easy enough to get those in and use it with a separate skeleton, or a separate body skeletons. I mean, these are all skeletons. So just use it with all these other body parts. The only thing is, the hands come with a little bit of feet here, and for a first person character, I wasn't able to, rotating around and testing for the camera, I wasn't able to see these. But these can always be fixed, either through Blender, just export the FBX and remove the meshes from the bottom and then re-export it. But yeah, this fits really well, and the way to do that, it normally comes with just one body mesh, which in my case was just using the pants. Oh, hey Farrell, I just noticed. Hopefully you didn't post that message too long ago. Um, so I was just showing a little bit of some of the modifications that I've done to the ALS v4 character, and my own character for the game. So what I was showing was being able to use a bunch of the um, a bunch of separate body meshes to with the ALS v4, and that was actually really simple. In the construction script, and this is again, it's a child, so it doesn't come with all the additional body meshes that the parent does. So the parent is oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy how it turned out. So the parent comes with just one body mesh, and this is kind of going to be the parent for my NPCs as well. But it's only going to have one body mesh. It's not going to be as customizable as the main character. So the only thing that I've done is with this master pose component, you can add a bunch of other body meshes to it, but you have to add them, each one of them. So that way you can get, you know uh, and that's the cool thing about ALS v3. It has this visual meshes here that I'm just going in and selecting. I didn't have to reparent because these were already mapped to the proper skeleton, and I just added all of these onto right in under the visual meshes. So that was very simple to do, and behaves really nicely. And again, from a third person perspective, it looks, you probably don't need the hands of a metahuman, but for me being in first person, I um, I wanted to have them so that when you look at the weapon, and with the pistol maybe it's not as obvious because the hand is extended. It's only when it's like maybe in this position that you can notice um, you know like the shine of the fingernails and the skin itself, how it looks. So yeah, and one of the things that I mentioned is let's take a look at adding another item to this radial menu. So right now I only have the pistol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an interactable rifle so you can pick it up and select it from the radial menu and switch between the two. And while doing that, I'll show you what I did um, on the side of the blueprint code, where uh, there was a little bit of digging for me to figure out how do the things change. Because if you look into the ALS, this is how it does it. It has that little pop-up, and you can select between all these things, right? So, and then you got pistol two hands, and then you got the bow, and so on and so forth. So and the rifle, again, it's like this, and this is what I was mentioning. Like with the rifle you get that hand that's pretty up close to the camera, and you want to have that look a little bit better, or a little bit of a higher quality looking item. And yeah, Farrell, if you join a little later, that's one of the things that I've done is the um, whoops, the interaction menu. That was something that I wanted to do, and just to kind of make things a little speedy. So this here is the one that is from the default ALS, and you just press a button and it shows up, so that's going to be removed. Right now if I hit the middle mouse button, nothing shows up because my inventory doesn't have any weapons. But once I pick up a weapon type, I can select it from here, and then it's kind of equipped. So I'll um, I'll do the same thing that I've done for this one, but let's do a rifle. So first things first, I'm going to duplicate this blueprint because it's the exact thing that I need to use. So let's take a look and see where that is. Interactable pistol. There we go. So one of the other things that I was looking into, there's this package on the marketplace. It's like an FPS starter pack or something like that. It's a really nice package, to be honest with you. I learned quite a few things from it. They handle things a little bit differently. Like when you interact with one of the items, it's actually the weapon they interact with. So in my case, I have a separate item that is it's basically just an interactable mesh. You pick it up and that's it. It doesn't do anything else. It's not the actual blueprint that is the weapon. So whenever you equip, you actually equip the weapon. So in my case, I have just a bunch of interactable items here. And so there's the interactable pistol and the interactable weapon base, and that's kind of just the starter class. Now when it comes to equipable, there's the actual knife or pistol that has specific values, like the amount of damage. There's the little interaction box when it comes to the knife, that if that interaction box hits the interaction box of the enemy, then it takes away from the enemy's stats. But for now, we'll just keep it simple. Let's take a look at interactable equip pistol. So I'm just going to duplicate this, and interactable equip, this is going to be rifle, and I think I might have some rifle assets if I recall correctly. Hopefully hopefully we can find something. Hey Colini, how are you doing? Welcome to the stream. So rifle, maybe was it an M41 or M? At least I thought I did. Maybe I'll just have to grab something off of the marketplace from some of the assets that I brought. Let's see. What would it be called? Rifle. Let's see. Skeletal mesh. That's not it. What could it be? So this is the first time that I'm looking for it, so I might be kind of digging around a little bit. M1 maybe? No, that's a pistol. I guess let's go to the marketplace and see if we can find something. I know I have I'm like a hawk when it comes to sales and very discounted items. Let's see, maybe there's like weapons or something. I know there's some kind of like this FPS weapon bundle. One of the things that I don't really have is an animated rifle, so that's something that I have to work out if I decide to go with like the assault rifle or with just a shotgun. That's going to be very much based on what I can find as far as animated weapons. So I think this one, this FPS weapon bundle, it's they're just static items, but they're yeah, free for the month. That's where I'm at. I've been refreshing the free for the month page. So yeah, these are and this is actually a permanently free. Oh no, so these, you can see from how long ago I got it. Um, 2018. I'm not sure if this is free anymore, but yeah, these I think they're just static. Uh, so you can potentially animate them to some extent. I'm thinking it might not be. Uh, it could be pretty. There'd be some work to animate something like that. You know, probably the easiest would be you know, one of the rifles. I think the I'm not sure what they call these ones, like the Beretta, not the Beretta, but the Uzis. I think this one might be a little bit more complicated because it's kind of it could work with some of the pistol animation, but it has a very high rate of fire and it's kind of automatic usually. But yeah, I think with one of the rifles, there is some animations, and I think that FPS bundle does have animations. Like uh, even though the skeletal meshes are, you know, not the best quality, but it does have some animation for the skeletal meshes, and you could replace each one of the skeleton meshes with parts of these, and that's what I'm gonna try and do. All right, so let's get this one, and oh, there's a ton of projects in here. Luckily, it's small, so hopefully I'll get downloaded real quick. And so yeah, along with some of these changes that I've done is I've made a cleanup of my GitHub repository for this. And again, you know, if you're not using a repository or like any kind of version control, you need to. it's it's essential. Okay, so let's see where the name of it was FPS Weapon Bundle. Let's see where that is. And FPS Weapon Bundle, here it is, weapons, and there. I think let's try one of these. I think they're all probably the same size, so positioning of hands might work okay. Alright, so let's take a look. We have the viewport, there it is, and this one. what's its material? Let's take a look. It's this one here. There. Okay. So that's a kind of a place to start, just to have that interactable item and be able to equip it. So let's see, where is that? Interactable rifle. Alright, so here it is. One thing that I need to do, so all my items are based on a kind of a struct system where so for example this one, and that's one of the things that I need to select and I didn't, and the class defaults, it has a item type here, and right now this is probably set to pistol, and I need to set this one, and I probably don't have it in here just yet, but it's probably gonna need to be a rifle. So as you can see, I have a list of items, and let's take a quick look at that when we add one. So all of these have you know, some basic description, specific weight, category, where it can be attached if you use this kind of way of attaching it, and so right now let's add, I'm gonna use this one. I can't remember if you can duplicate it. I guess you can. So duplicate it, and this is gonna be a rifle. One of the reasons that this is also part of it is it tells you the type of class that is going to spawn when you actually equip it. So you're going to equip a weapon class, not just the interactable class, but the weapon class that has, you know, has damage, the type of projectile that it shoots, you know, all these kind of holster, unholster sockets, and you know, some of these descriptions along with it, if you look at it in the inventory, you know, potentially for further expanding it in the future, but at this point it's pretty basic. So rifle, you know, this is just a basic description, you know, like the equip animations, and this is what I used to use for ALSV3. It was a pretty complex anim graph by the time I was working on it, so it was a little quite a bit of work. So with the V4, it's quite a bit simpler the way it has it implemented. And let's take a look. So this is the icon that's going to be shown in the radial menu whenever you go into it, and I'm not entirely sure if I have a rifle. I'm not sure if I don't think I have an icon for that. Let's see. I think the radial menu project that I'm using has something like that, at least just to show that there's something there. Yeah, what I normally do is that's materials. Let's see, where are the meshes? Sometimes, you know, what I did for the other ones, like for example this pistol, because I didn't have an icon of it. Oh, and actually it looks like this one has a skeleton, it just doesn't have animation, so you can potentially export the skeleton and do it that way. Okay, that's great. Well, so what I was doing, at least for the other items, is in here, you know, it's pretty hackish, but I was taking a screenshot of this, and then in Photoshop I was just cutting out the entire weapon just to create that icon. So, you know, it worked for me. It was fine enough. But quickly, I'm not gonna spend the time in doing, you know, photoshopping right now. So let's take a look at and I hope I can find, where is that radial menu? Because I think that one has, at least I hope it does. And maybe it doesn't. Oh, I guess there is something in here. So I'm gonna use a shotgun icon. Um, it's just this. It's better than nothing. So at least to get a kind of an icon shown up in the radial menu. Okay, so we have the rifle. I think it's pretty okay at the moment. Um, so let's go back into the rifle and select it. Let's see, maybe I need to. Sometimes with these data tables, you might need to restart the engine for this thing to populate. There it is. Alright, so we have it as rifle, compile. So now this is where the interesting part is, and that might be of interest to you. In my, let's see, where did I move it? So what I have done is in my player controller, whenever I hit the middle mouse button, this comes with this radial menu package from the marketplace. So what happens is when you hit the middle mouse button, there's the radial menu that comes on, and that's this enter quick item. So I do a quick check to see if we have any weapons. So if there's no weapons, there's no reason for that menu to show up. I might rethink it to maybe put out a notification if this is false. You know, maybe it'd be like print string. You have no weapons in inventory. And, you know, so this is I'm going to tie it into my my notification window so that I can display that, hey, you know, you don't have anything yet. Alright, so what this does is outputs the radial menu widget, adds it to viewport, then it does a little bit of it sets the global time dilation. This is the one that I was talking about to that slows basically that's what it does. Global time dilation slows time or the game time. And what I've done is the item that you select, you're getting the child of it, and these are all functions from this UMG radial menu, and casting it to each one of these items that are shown in the menu. I look to see what the name of it is, of that row, and I just change the overlay state, which is already built into my ALS main, into the ALS character. So in this case, what I'm going to do is, if the second case is going to be rifle, just going to duplicate those and set this one to rifle. Now when you do this, there's also the mesh that you have to specify, and so right now I didn't expand on this too much to actually specify it, but to actually specify it based on what's in your item list, because you know that would be the goal. But right now it's when you go into your character, let's take a look. Where was the setting it up? Let me see. I have quite a bunch of all the parents and the children. So here it is. So right now this is kind of the main character player, which is a child of this ALS main character BP, and that is a child of this starter character here. So this is the place where this function update held object is the one that updates the object that you're actually holding. So in the case of rifle, I want this to be, and right now there's this M41 kind of placeholder that is built in with the ALS v4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this one to be the one from the rifle package, and luckily there is skeletons with that, so I don't have to like change any of the I guess there's also static meshes with this a very useful attachment to hand, which this is great. So this is this is the reason that I think V4 was totally worth spending the time to move things to it, and also doing some cleanup. All right, so let's take a look. I was weapon bundle, weapons, meshes, and this one was the K74. So there's that. There's an X and there's a 47, AK-47. So I'll stick to this one. Let's see, what was the other one that I was looking at? Oh, I think it was this one that I was looking at. Let's do this one. Alright, so let's compile. And now we'll give it a test and see how much I've broken. Alright, so pick up pistol, and this is one of the issues that I forgot to do. And the item list, because I went a little too quick with it, and so this one is the rifle, so it should say pick up rifle and place. So this is when you drop it. Okay, so now let's see if that changes. This might be where I might need to restart the engine, but let's take a look. So now we have the rifle, which again it was that that icon that was the only thing that I could find, and then the pistol. So let's do the rifle, and oh, there's a problem with it. So the problem is that it's kind of it's not aligned the same way that that the original one was for the ALS package. So it's this one here. This one's just interactable, so I don't need that anymore. But let's do, it's got an offset. It doesn't have a rotation. Let's take a look at this attached to hand. Where is the offset? Set relative location with the offset. Let's see if we can set a relative rotation as well, because so right now this was exported in this particular axis, and unfortunately I don't really want to go and export this to blend or rotate it into the axis that is set up with ALS at the moment. So I'm gonna try and see if I can hack at this function here. Attached to hand. Let's try and do, besides an offset, let's do a rotation as well. This should have been a transform, it would have been nice, but I'll take it. And rotator. Let's do a rotator here. And then this one, set relative rotation, and we have the rotation. Rotation, if I can spell this, get rotation. Alright, I'm hoping that it's not going to break any of the other ones. We might have to do a check to see if it's anything less than different than 0, then apply it. But so in here, for the SKU for the weapon, let's do a rotation of 90. Let's see how that's gonna turn it, because this one's also probably related to the socket, so hopefully it's not gonna break a whole lot of stuff. There we go, that worked. Now let's see about the pistol. Oops, and it didn't change. That's something that I'm gonna need to fix. It didn't change to the pistol. It works for this, but not when it's a pistol. Interesting. Oh, and I think, no, it's getting the right index. Oh, yeah, I think I might know what's happening. When I so I'm switching these things up here, but the row name, it's still probably being read. It's probably not being read properly. So it is rifle. So let me try. I'll try and restart restart the engine, or restart the editor. I'm kind of thinking that so I've run into this issue previously where the um, the data table, once you add values to it, parts of it can be read, but sometimes you have to restart the engine for it to be for everything to be read properly. Not entirely sure why that happened, but that was what happened for me. So let's see. Hopefully, we'll see if this changes once it boots up. The cool thing about the radial menu is that it also works off of index. So everything that gets added to that radial menu is basically added to an array. And then once you move your mouse around and it register the index of that location where you are in that radial menu, and that's the cool part about it, that you can pull out from that array, hey, what item is this? And that's what I'm doing. Is I have, you know, these two separate items in that array, which is, one of them is the rifle, one of them is the pistol, and based off of that, I'm getting the item number 2, or the index 1. That's going to be, you know, pistol. Index 2 is going to be, you know, the other one. So in my case, I'm not really looking at the index, but I'm looking at the name itself. So that way I know that for this particular name, I'm going to be equipping the pistol, or for this particular name, I'm going to be equipping the rifle. So let's see if that worked. If not, disappointment, but also fixing some other stuff. So let's take a look. Yeah, I know there's an error, and see what's going on. So I have the rifle, I have the pistol. Let's do pistol. It's still doing the rifle. What the heck? Oh yeah, it looks like it's reading the rifle as well. So I have these, I'm not sure if you can tell, these print string debug messages on the left side. So right now it's like, for the rifle, even though it's different indexes, for the rifle it's still looking at it, and the pistol is still doing the same thing. So I'm gonna there's something to fix. But basically this is how it looks once you have once you pick up multiple weapons. And again, in my case, you're going to be limited by your backpack as far as how many items you can carry. But whenever you have a item of type weapon, and for example, I can go ahead and pick up a cat and soup, and I think there's not enough space for that item. Well, I guess I'm just gonna pick up the pistol for now. So the items like this, they won't show up. Only the items that are of type weapon are gonna show up in this radial menu for you to select. And yeah, so this one works fine like that. But if I was to I need to increase the size of my inventory. And for whatever reason, whenever there's both the rifle and the pistol, it doesn't seem to be happy about that. So something to investigate, and hopefully on next stream, which I hope to do next week, I'll go over some of that. Before I end, one thing that I wanted to show, and I'm gonna quickly do a tutorial on this. Hopefully it'll be interesting and useful to other people. Let me see, I believe, did I put it in tutorials, or let's take a quick peek. If it was in tutorials, or it was, no, I think it was in here actually. Yeah, my bad. So one of the things that I've been running into is I wanted to take multiple screenshots of multiple locations in my game at the same time and not have to rely on I'm gonna move the camera and take a photo of this. Oh yeah, hey, great. And then I'm gonna move it over here and take another photo of that, and then so on and so forth. And every single photo is gonna be in a slightly different position. So what I wanted to do is let me see, hopefully I can find that screenshot. BP take screenshots. Okay, so what I've done is I've created this little editor utility widget that when you run it, and right now it just says text block, but what it's going to do is it's going to take a look at all the cameras, or all the actors in level that are of type camera or cine camera, and I believe mine is with cine camera if I recall correctly. Yeah, so it's cine camera. So let's add a couple of and I'll show you what this is all about. So cine camera actor. So I'm gonna add one here, for example, and I'm gonna add another one. Let's do it, place it somewhere into a different location, maybe here, okay, it's interesting, it's kind of a puddle of water or something. So I have multiple cameras right now. There's only two, but two is a multiple. So there's two cameras, and if I go ahead and click on Run Utility Widget, I'm going to go ahead and take screenshots. Let's take a look, and this is what we get. So we get two automatically taken screenshots from the separate locations or wherever you place the cameras, and you don't have to move your viewport camera around and take a specific shot of that location and so on and so forth. Now each one of the cameras you can change, tweak values, like the depth of field and all that kind of fancy stuff. And so I hope I'm gonna make a video, a tutorial on this. Should be pretty short because it's not very complicated, and I hope that's to post that next week, so hopefully that's going to be of use to some of you folks. But with that being said, and one thing to note is you have to jump into game mode to restore your viewport camera to what it was. So yeah, that's what I wanted to show you, a little bit of the updates on the gameplay and how the radial menu works. None of the other things changed as far as like the quest and the inventory. It's more of like the more work that was done on my end, just cleaning up the main character classes and to transition to ALS v4. So much appreciated y'all for stopping by and taking a look at this stream, and I'll like I said, I'll try and post that tutorial on this camera system, or like taking screenshots via the system sometime next week. And yeah, hopefully this was something useful as well on with a little bit of an insight of how I'm doing things with the ALS v4 and changing between weapons. And if you have any questions, do let me know. I'll try and reply in the comments as well. Alright, thank you guys so much, and y'all have a great rest of your day and a great start of the week. Alright, take care everybody.